I'm not going to tell him it is because I don't label things.
Man, if you had a big old a pound of it, of like this, sir, what is this that we? Oh, that's just my favorite white, sweet, crystally.
Goodness.
He's gonna be like, put this guy in the car for a second, and I refuse to call it sugar.
They're gonna be like, sir, this is sugar.
I know, and I made you wait. This dude, he probably had a kid that he'd have missed his birthday, trying to test your sugar, when all you had to say was.
It's sugar.
Hey, blast off. I can talk my ass off. Hey, Smokey, what you seen, and I'll tell you what I saw. Hollywood, what you think, and I'll tell you what I thought. And we can talk about it all when we here on Trash Talk.
What's going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of the Trash Talkers podcast.
We made it.
What's up, Smokey?
What up? Man, everything. I'm just observing right now. I'm just observing life.
Observing or observing?
Observing.
What are we observing?
I'm absurding.
What are we observing today, Smokey?
Life, like the state of society, and how crazy things are. It's a wild time to be alive.
Man, is that not... I feel like in every person's life at some point, it's always like, oh, this is it. This is it. Like,
yep, this is the big one.
This is...
Coming to join you, Elizabeth.
I'm coming, Miss Elizabeth. I'm coming. If y'all know what that is, leave it down in the comment section. But yeah, man, these days is... And I don't want to stick on it too long because I don't want to...
Bring the mood down.
Yeah, I don't want to reminisce, or not reminisce. I don't want to be in the thinking of what could possibly be to come.
The doomsayers. I ain't saying that now. I ain't saying this is the end. I'm just saying this is a wild time to be alive.
Man. Shall we hop into the top three comments? All right. Again, guys, if you are new here to the Trash Talkers podcast, we always read the top 3 comments from the previous podcast, which was myths. I cannot say that word.
Myths.
Say it.
Myths.
It's so myths.
Mythuses
in music. Yes. The number 3 most liked comment from Myths in Music comes from Kim Zwolonsky. Kim says, one of the weirdest I remember was about Gene Simmons of Kiss. People used to say he had a cow tongue crafted onto his, and that's why it was so long. Yuck.
That is so impossible. I can't believe that people believed it, but I've heard that one before. That's hilarious.
Remember I asked you a trivia question, what animal has the longest tongue?
Yeah.
Remember?
Giraffe?
You should have said Gene Simmons.
Yeah,
you should have just said Gene Simmons.
He does have a long tongue now.
Judges would have taken that one.
But a cow's tongue is like this big around.
Yeah.
Like it won't even fit in your mouth.
God. All right, the number 2 most liked comment, excuse me guys, number 2 most liked comment comes from Ken Bober. Shout out to you, Ken Bober. Ken Bober says, what you hear in lyrics versus what the lyrics actually are completely different. As someone who's listened to death metal since the early 90s, even I misinterpreted the lyrics sometimes.
Oh yeah.
You could hear lyrics about peeling skin off the body while pouring salt on the wounds while summoning Lucifer, but when you read the lyrics, it's about stubbing your toe on the nightstand. You hear what you want to hear if you can't understand the vocals.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen to Busy Bone.
Yes, listen to Busy Bone. You'll come up whatever you want. It'll sound like it.
Yeah.
All right, the number 1 most liked comment from that podcast comes from FM Chef. Shout out to you, FM Chef. FM Chef says, the first myth that comes to my head I've heard several times is Mama Cass died by choking on a ham sandwich.
Yeah, that one's been passed around in the comment section.
Don't do Mama Cass like that.
Yeah. Turns out it wasn't true. Man, that's just people making a horrible joke because she was overweight.
And Mama Cass was one of my favorites out of. I ain't gonna. All right, I'm lying. My favorite out of the Mamas and the Papas was definitely the girl eating the banana while doing she's like, I don't care. All right,
yeah.
She just don't care, man. Today we got an interesting topic, Smokey.
Yeah. Who the hell cares about genres?
You tell me.
Man, that's a comment that pops up in almost every video that we talk about genres in whatever reaction we're doing. There's always that one comment that pops up that says, who the hell even cares about genres? Well, the fact is, Almost the entire music industry cares about genres.
Do they though? All right, okay. The music industry. What about the consumer?
Consumer, maybe not so much, but there are instances where you need genres.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, if you're going to a record store, you don't just walk in there and there's a billion random CDs laid out. No, you go to your genre that you like to listen to and find your CD.
Yeah, you'd find your section. Like, hey, I want to check out some new reggae. All right, reggae section over there. I want to check out some new ska. Hey, ska's over there. I want to check out some rap. Rap's over there.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to check out metal. Metal's over there. But
You know what? What else? Something modern is your algorithms care about genre. Because when they suggest you new music, they are going to pick from the genres you like to listen to.
I will say, Trash Talkers, as me and Smokey being two lifelong rap hip hop heads, our genres are all over the place.
Oh, absolutely.
One minute we got,
and everybody should be. I think.
Yes, it should be. It should be open minded. But one minute I get Tupac, then I get Led Zeppelin, then I get Pink Floyd, then I get 3 6 Mafia, and I'm like, I feel like my algorithm's like, bro, what the hell?
What do you even listen to?
What do you want?
Yeah, well, usually when I pick out a song to listen to on like YouTube Music or whatever, they'll give me something in that genre of what I just listened to, and that's how I like to do it. Because when I start off with a song, like I'll just randomly think of a song, like, man, I want to hear that Typo Negative song, you know, and then YouTube will follow it up with something that I've listened to before that is in that genre, and I like that because I like to stay in that genre for that time. Tomorrow I might be on blues, but today I want to hear gothic metal.
Yeah, and that's so crazy because I like to invite friends over, family over, you know, people that I'm associating with. It's like when my mom comes over, all right, she's gonna walk in the house. Let me put Prince on. So I know Prince is gonna play. Oh, the next song's gonna be Purple Rain. The next song's gonna be Little Red Corvette. And then every now and then it's like, I'll just throw some Motorhead in there. She's like, wait a minute.
The hell?
Yeah, or I'll be on a date with someone, and my date comes in, and I know she enjoys rap, so I'm like, all right, so let me put some rap on. So you got some rap going and some 21 Savage and some Young Thug, and then it's like, maybe I'll throw some Kiss in there, like, oh Lord. Or I had one of my homeboys come over, and he's very into the new like hip hop, so he'll come. I'm like, all right, I'll put some Big X to Plug or Big Scar, and then YouTube's like, how about some Ozzy Osbourne? I'm like, oh, Jesus, man. But I think that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely it is. I was just saying, people go overboard with the, like, genres don't matter, but they do. Say you're a young artist, you're about to get signed to your first record deal, and you walk into the record label to meet with the A&R, right? What is the first question they're going to ask you?
What genre are you?
Yeah.
But hold on now, Smokey. I'm about to hit you with something that's gonna throw you off a little bit. Yeah. Now, what if most people, like you just said, you walk into an artist walks into a record label. First question is usually, what genre are you in, right? What if there's an artist that comes in and just says, I don't know,
Mike Patton?
What genre is Mike Patton?
You know what they're going to tell him? Like, well, that's great that you can do all genres. What are you going to do on my label? Because I'm only putting out these certain genres.
All right, I'm going to do Mr. Bungle. I got a band called Mr. Bungle.
Well, now that might be a bridge too far for any record.
All right, how about that? You're right. I got another band called Faith No More.
Okay, what do they do?
Just, what do you want me to do? How about that?
Well, we're really big on funk metal right now, funk rock.
Where I was going with that is like, is it not okay for an artist to come in and say, I don't have a genre, I just make music? Like,
well, I mean, yeah, it's okay for an artist to say that. I mean, there have been artists who said that because they don't want to be confined to a certain genre, and that's completely understandable. The record label is not going to take that for an answer, though.
You don't think so?
No, they want to know what kind of music you're going to be producing. Because if we have a label that has an entire stable of crunk rap artists, we're not going to be wasting our time with, some blues, jazz, fusion artists.
All right, let me ask you this. Does every singer, every rapper, every band, every group to ever exist, do they all fit in a genre?
No, songs fit into a genre. Everybody doesn't fit in one single genre, no.
Okay. Okay, well then let's just
Even songs can blend genres for sure.
Yeah, of course.
But there's always going to be that bass genre.
And I'm just trying to play the I'm trying to play the comment that you're referring to. I'm trying to do that to try to pick your mind on that. But like, okay, so what if the record label says, "Hey, what genre do you do? What genre are you?" And they're like, "Well, we don't know." But all right, my number one hit single is "I Don't Ever Wanna Feel." What genre is that?
Like I did the alternative.
All right, that's my number one single off this album that has 13 songs,
Which was really different from their normal genre.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that one album that has "I Don't Ever Want," which is what genre you said?
It was more of alternative style at the time, yeah.
But every other song on that album happened to be techno. What genre are they? What genre? If every other
that happens. I mean, even hair metal had the ballads that they had to throw on every album because they wanted to shake it up, you know. And somebody made a huge hit by doing that, and the label's like, okay, every hair metal artist has to have a ballad on their album.
Yeah.
Because they want to repeat that success.
So let me ask you this then: is there a song out there that? Oh hell, I was gonna say a song that just doesn't have a genre, but
Well, Mr. Bungle probably, you know, because I actually watched part of their live performance at Bazaar Fest from like 2000. And dude, they make some of the wildest music, like just chaotic, unrestrained. He started off the set. These are fans that are out there to see this wild, crazy, weird music. And he started off the set by singing some like old school, a Motown type stuff.
yeah. And look, we gotta kind of give Mike Patton a pass, bro.
Yeah.
Like he gets a pass. That dude can do it.
But then he went straight into
yeah, and then came. Then after he did that one, he was like, "And every night." Man, Mike Patton might be the genre king.
Yeah, he might.
He might be the genre
he might
king,
very well
dude.
be.
And it's so crazy because as an artist, you mentioned earlier, you don't want to be confined to a box.
Not at all.
Like, let me ask you this. Us being two rappers, does it, like, if someone comes to you and say, "Hey, you were a horrorcore rapper, now you're more of an emo rapper."
Yeah.
Does that kind of bother you a little bit? Because
Not at all.
Really?
Nah.
Because to
No,
me,
I don't. But here's the thing: is I'm not gonna be like, okay, that's all I do.
right? Okay.
I mean, there are artists that do that only do one style, and it's kind of boring after a while.
So it does
Like,
bother you.
everybody's heard those rappers that you're like, man, he's got a great flow, great style, he's got those hits, but dang it, every freaking album is the same.
All right. So right now, what genre of rap do you make right now? Someone comes to you, Smokey. What kind of genre of rap do you make?
Oh, when I make music with you, it's mostly emo rap.
All right. What about if you made just you making music by yourself? What kind of music do you make
I would do
today?
Like, yeah, I would do like a blend of. I would take a blend of like the new trap style and mix it with old school hip hop.
All right. Give me a genre. What is that called? Because people care about genres. I need a genre.
Yeah.
What genre?
It's a fusion genre.
Okay, so fusion.
I don't know that there is there
See
a name
that?
for that?
All right. See, here's me playing devil's advocate.
Because
like,
even back in the day, I would always do these like New York's tempos.
Yeah.
You know, I'd switch it up when everybody's doing the same double time.
Right.
You know, and I would make those songs, and people are like, "Yeah, but I don't like that style of
right.
music."
So
But I do.
We're out. Yeah. So where I'm going, you said I don't know if there is a genre. So if I'm someone who heard your newest album that you dropped 2 days ago,
Yeah.
and I'm like, dude, this is hard. What genre is that? I want to check out some other artists that sound like
Oh,
that.
I'd come up with something.
Give me a genre.
I mean,
You see how hard it is?
yeah, I would say like, man, I would say like,
Come on, dude. I need another genre.
funky trapcore.
Funky trapcore.
Yeah.
Now name me another artist that's that would label themselves.
Oh, I bet.
that would say it themselves. Hey, I'm funky trapcore.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about artists is artists are kind of
Fickle.
narcissistic.
We're very fickle. Yes.
And we're like, well, somebody already did that.
Yeah.
They already called it funky trapcore. Mine is not. Mine is more acid.
See, that's what they'll do. They'll
Yeah.
say, "I'm funky trap acid core."
Yeah, exactly.
I can't be like
I gotta be a little different.
a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I can understand when some people say, "Why put a name on genre? Why can't you just enjoy the music?" Because if you were to ask me the same, like when I asked you, "Hey, if someone said you are a emo rapper," and you said I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
To me, I'm not okay with that because I know
that's what you do though.
Yeah, you're right. But I know I can do so much more than that. And when it comes to other rappers or other artists, Prince, like if they went to Michael Jackson, they called him the king of pop. I promise you, Michael Jackson, or I can't promise you, but I can't guarantee it, but I would strongly think that Michael Jackson would say, "Stop putting me in a pop category. I do so much more than that."
He branded that the king of pop.
Dude, he was like funky back in the day.
Yeah,
Dude, he was doing this with
Yeah,
Cher.
he was disco at first, and then kind of a funk blend, but he experimented with a lot. I mean, even think about Bad, like he tried to cross over into rock a little bit.
I mean,
But-
rap even. Or look at Elvis.
Yeah.
They called him the king of rock and roll.
Yeah.
I bet he was like, "Man, I do so much more than rock and roll." Like,
Yeah,
you
he
know what I
did.
mean? It's like,
Yeah, he did blues, he did soul, yeah.
same with Mike, same with me and
Yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, remember?
What I'm saying, he did all those genres, but he's not going to get mad that someone says, "You're a pop artist." Like, he's probably like, "Yeah, I'm the king of pop."
You think so?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like, his team branded that. They used that as a selling point. Like, this is the king right here. Like, he's not just a pop artist. That's the king of pop.
all right. Who's the king of pop? You just said it. Who was it? What's his name? You just
Michael
said it.
Jackson.
Who was the king of rock and roll?
Oh, Elvis, back in then.
Why
Yeah.
is there no king of metal? Who's the king of metal?
Metallica.
Okay. What about death metal?
Oh, that's tough because we know very little about death metal so far.
How about hair metal?
Probably Motley Crue.
How about groove metal?
Pantera.
Emo metal?
That's a little tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
don't know. Black Veil Brides. I don't know.
It's such an umbrella term. It's like I think majority you have like a 7 genre. Like you have 7 I think main genres: rock, country, rap, pop,
Yeah.
blues, and so on and so on. And then you can blues. You got Mississippi Delta. You got but
You got Chicago. Yeah, you got modern blues. You got the R&B. You got so many.
it's so many, but when you every genre seems to have an umbrella to it. So is it so wrong then? Is it so wrong for someone to say, "Why put them in a genre then?" Is it so wrong for somebody to ask that when it's
Nah, I mean, if you're the consumer, if you don't care, it doesn't really matter, does it?
I guess not.
I'm just saying, like, those comments are meant to directed at the people who do use genres to classify people. And they like, well, I don't do it. You shouldn't do it. So, but everything has a classification. Everything is categorized in this life. So
Why do we do that? Why do we have to?
it makes things easier. Categories makes life easier. That's why we do it.
Can you not just say, "I don't care what genre it is. I just enjoy it. I don't care."
Now, see, you're thinking of the people that are
consumer.
like, I won't listen to that because it's called that.
We were that, Smokey.
Yeah.
We were that at
Not
one point.
anymore.
Not anymore, but we were that.
Yeah.
But now we have
And
opened.
see, here's the thing. We've touched on this several times. People would, along the way, society would label a certain genre as cringy, right? Usually subgenres, but sometimes, like we were in school, like country was a cringy genre. And now it's the hottest thing in the music industry. But
Stick around.
but here's the thing. If we liked a song, like, say, Chris Stapleton came out, and we're like, I'm going to label that as blues. Because I
you
like
don't-
Chris Stapleton, but I'm not associated with country. Chris Stapleton is blues. I like him. I don't like country because country is cringy.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that, though, right?
No, if it makes you feel better,
That's
about it,
where
go
I'm
for
going.
it.
If it makes let's look at it from a religious point of view. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm agnostic. I know something exists. I just don't know what.
Yeah.
So you can call it whatever you want. You can call it God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. Call it whatever you want.
Oh, people love classifying religious deities.
Yes, and that's how I would look at music. Like, yes, me and you, that's what we do here on Rappers React. You know, we think this is this genre. We think this genre.
Yeah.
But to me, sometimes when I hear music, like you're not a fan of screwed and chopped music. Like you want like I want to hear what it sounds like. But me, if I like it and I just like the way it makes me feel, like I don't care. I like it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what God I'm worshiping. I think there's something, whether it be a creator of the simulator, call it what you want, but I don't know. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I get it. Let's say you're in a band and you write this new song, right? You go into your bandmates like, hey, I got this new song I want us to do. And they're going to be like, okay, what style is it? We don't put styles on it.
No,
like, what am I gonna play then?
All right, so if you ask me, all right, hey man, I got this. All right, you've done that. Hey man, I've got this new song I'm working on. What is it? What is it? I could say trap. I could.
Yeah.
Have I ever said like this is what kind of like this is what it is? If I had to say anything like to anybody, I would just say this is rap. But
yeah,
to
well,
you,
rap is different. You're just like, I've already got the beat made. I'm saying if you're in a band where everybody has to play their own part.
All right, so I'm playing a E flat 3-chord strike. Here, just check it out. And you hear it. He hasn't put a genre on it, but once you hear it, you're like, oh, it's kind of a blues.
Yeah, it sounds like a blues. Yeah, tempo or whatever. Yeah.
But what about the person who made it up? And he was like, I don't know what it is. What do you think?
I say, if that person is like so pissed off that we're gonna give it a name, then there's something wrong.
Okay, you're talking about just labeling.
Yeah.
The genre. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I think
like if you're just that pissed off at labels, then there's maybe something going on there.
Why do you have sugar with sugar on it?
Yeah.
Because it's sugar?
I call this sweet. Matter of fact, I don't call it anything. I just like this white crystal stuff.
It's so. Whoa, hold on now.
Only you would be thinking in that direction.
Oh no! But that's what I'm saying. You said we do have to put things in categories.
Yeah.
If you told a cop, "Hey, I like this white crystal stuff,"
yeah,
he's got to put it in a category.
Yeah,
and you tell
because you don't want to come out and say sugar. He's gonna be like, well,
exactly.
Let me test that.
So I'm not the only person
you go
think
sit
like
in the
that.
car while I test that.
White so it's just a white crystally sweet. Okay, well, let's go test it out then. In your head, you're thinking that's just sugar. How dare he think of anything else?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna tell him it is because I don't label things.
Man, if you had a big old a pound of it, of like this, sir, what is this that we found? Oh, that's just my favorite white, sweet, crystally.
Goodness.
He's gonna be like, put this guy in the car for a second. And I refuse to call it sugar.
They're gonna be like, sir, this is sugar.
I know, and I made you wait. This dude, he probably had a kid that he'd have missed his birthday, trying to test your sugar, when all you had to say was,
it's sugar.
Well, why did you just say that?
I do not label. And I refuse to put a label on that white crystally goodness.
It's sugar, bro.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Is like, it's okay if you don't like genres and you hate that that you have to put a label. You don't have to.
No.
But I'm just saying you can't get mad at other people for labeling stuff.
My thing is, you can't get mad at people. Man, we're people. Everyone thinks different. Everyone, you may like this person may like that. This person doesn't like this person doesn't like that. I mean, we're different.
Everything in life falls into a category somehow. And we do that because it makes life easier.
It does.
You don't want to mix up your sugar with your malic acid and get two different flavors.
Hey, true story. When my mom
it might be actually a good candy.
What?
Maybe I should go with something different. You don't want to mix your vinegars with your sugars. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead. What was your story?
True story. My mom, when she was married to the guy in Sweden, we went to Sweden, and then he's an avid coffee drinker.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to come to Atlanta. Like, he never had to wear suntan lotion in his life, and this is June in Atlanta. He's got a bald head. His whole head is just flaking. Like, it's just flaking. Bro, I remember waking up, and he was sitting because we stayed in apartments on the west side. He's sitting over there. He's got his coffee, and he had a white crystallized thing. He's just pouring it in there. I'm like, bro, that's salt. He's over there drinking. You're like, that's pretty damn good. He's over there killing. I'm like, that's salt, bro. Oh, I thought it was. I mean, he's literally. I enjoy that white crystal.
That's because you don't use labels when you should.
But in his head, but that might be how. Dude, that's crazy. That might be how some new genres come to be.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't know that he might to this day, shout out to you, Shell. He might to this day put salt in his coffee because he's like, who would have thought this? Now I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now you get some bands.
That's how punk was made, I think.
You get some
Personally,
bands.
I mean, I know the story was that progressive was just getting so far out there and so complicated that the youth of the time wanted to bring it back to just simple and whatever and fast. But also I feel like there might have been an element of kids who were just playing for the first time and didn't have the skills, that the big time progressive artists had, and they just get in there and like just play those 3 chords that really fast.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, like you only know 3 chords, but if we play it really fast, it sounds a little more complicated. Just play it really fast. So they do that, and then they're just yeah.
Hey, that sounds like trap to me.
I had to pull up on it. Yo, hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
Man, genres are an interesting thing. When you think about it. Genres, labels.
dude, I love it. I don't know.
I mean,
I love to make sense of it in my head.
Yeah.
That's why I use genres.
yeah, and that's fine, And us, what we do here, y'all, we're still learning, different genres. God
Oh
damn
yeah,
it.
because we still get those comments like, "You think this is thrash? This is underground twisted speed techno metal."
And yes, that's. But
like,
can you get wrong? You can't get mad at that person because they're putting that in that genre.
yeah,
Underground
exactly.
twisted.
Yeah. Oh, I don't. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just like you can't expect us to just
Know that.
whatever super speed power slop
Hold on,
industrial is.
I'm looking at our Black Sabbath the Wizard video. Go
Yeah.
check that reaction out and just see if anybody. Oh, they did start out as a blues band. However, I wouldn't consider this era of Sabbath blues. I would
Yeah.
consider this psychedelic metal.
Yeah. Oh, psychedelic metal grew out of the blues.
See, that's a problem right there. It's all of
Yeah.
Well, it did kind of come from that.
Well, see, that's the thing. If you want to learn the history, you have to learn the genres.
But what if psychedelic blues to that?
I mean, how would you know that all rock grew out of the blues scene if you don't learn the genres?
I don't know.
You wouldn't know the history of these
So
things.
let me shout this person out. Shout out to Joe Allegra 556.
Yeah.
What if Joe Allegra is a diehard Sabbath fan?
Mm-hmm.
And what if, like, are we wrong to?
He just agreed with me. What are you talking
No.
about?
I'm saying if he what if he's an older guy that's like, you said psychedelic metal grew out of blues, right?
Yeah.
What if psychedelic metal?
I mean, that's why it was called psychedelic blues. Yeah.
But what if psychedelic metal, in his eyes, something that we've never heard of, came before blues? Like, what if this dude's 89 years old and heard of a band that me and you've never heard of, and they were labeled as psychedelic blues or psychedelic metal, and then that transitioned to blues? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, maybe psychedelic metal was something before blues was, and we just don't know it.
I don't understand what you're saying there.
Okay, you said blues
Yeah.
came from psychedelic metal.
No.
I mean, I'm sorry, psychedelic metal came
Well,
from blues.
psychedelic rock was originally called psychedelic blues because they were playing blues riffs and blues solos,
Right.
and yeah, it grew out of the blues. Yes.
Okay, so
And then metal came after psychedelic rock.
all right, so he classified the Wizard as psychedelic metal,
Yeah,
right?
I understand that.
Which
yeah.
came out of, you said, came
Yeah.
from blues.
Yeah.
What if he was listening to music? Let's just hypothetically say this guy's 100 years old, and he was listening to a band before blues was even a thing.
Oh, way
That
back
he-
then.
That he never, he
Oh,
don't even know.
kinda-
What,
Oh, we can't say that yet.
oh
Dang.
Lord, what was you about to say?
I was going to bring up how an artist we covered invented a genre that wasn't even popular for another 10 years.
Let me finish where I'm going here.
How did you forget it? We did it like an hour ago.
You
All right,
talking
go
about?
ahead.
Well, did we?
We can't talk
yeah,
about it
yeah,
because
won't
it hasn't come out
Yeah.
yet.
But all I'm saying is if this guy may have heard something that he never even knew what blues was, and it was like, man, this psychedelic metal's dope, and then he heard blues.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what if in his head he's thinking, oh, blues grew out of psychedelic metal because that's just what he
Well, yeah,
heard
if that's
first.
what you heard first, that's what you would think. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Maybe he just heard it first. I don't know, man.
I mean, there might have been some, like, Beethoven character, some Johann Sebastian Bach character back in the day playing psychedelic metal. Who knows?
Dude, it's like a kid today. Like, if they heard all they've listened to, they were born in 2018. All they've listened to is nothing but Playboy Cardi. So all they know is trap.
I feel sorry for him. Okay, go ahead.
But you see that? You feel sorry for him because we know the roots of hip hop. Yeah. And he's like, oh man, this that trap. Yeah. He has no idea what boom bap is. Yeah. He has no idea. But when you show it to him, he's like, oh, in my head, this came before that, even though that came before this. So that's what he knows. And maybe that's what some people think about with genres. They're like, hey, I know this, but I thought this existed before that. Like the ska thing is a big one for me. The ska is a big thing for me because I have seen comments where some trash talkers have said ska was around before reggae. How?
Yeah, it came from the Caribbeans. Yeah.
Ska
I mean, I don't know that to be a fact. I mean, that is what somebody said. I don't know it to be a fact, but it makes sense if it did.
That's a weird one to me.
Because ska didn't. I mean, the punk ska that you're thinking about in America grew. I mean, they took that from the original ska music of the Caribbean that had been around for quite some time.
I don't know that's one that's hard for me to, because when I hear ska, I'm thinking, horns, instruments, horns, and I said instruments, but horns and brass.
Yeah, they are instruments.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brass instruments and stuff like that. But then I'm like, well, Marley came out again. I don't know, but
I don't know. I haven't really looked at the history of Caribbean music.
I want to Google that. Dang it.
But I do know that ska was around long before the punk bands started doing ska in America.
So if you had to take a guess, did ska come out before reggae? What genre was first, ska or reggae?
I mean, my first thought would have been reggae, but
that's what I would.
Or at least simultaneously.
Let's see.
But I mean, ska probably goes back to the
because in my head,
it's almost an alteration of jazz, so it could go back to the early 1900s.
Oh, but still, I think reggae
jazz
goes back further than that.
In the very early 1900s.
You don't think reggae goes back further than that?
Possibly. Like I said, I've never looked up the history of it.
Which came first, ska or wow?
That's one of the.
Holy crap!
What we got? In the 1950s?
Ska came before reggae. Ska originally...
Not quite as old as I thought. Yeah, so reggae formulated in the 60s, where ska formulated in the 50s. So that commenter was right.
You see how we both thought reggae would have came
older,
first.
Yeah.
Crazy world, man.
Yeah.
Crazy world. Next thing we know, we're going to Google that experimental trap came out before horrorcore.
Yeah.
Before gangster rap.
It came out in the 70s. What if there was like the super lyrical styles, the lyrical miracles of today? What you go back to early rap, with the hip hop, the hip a hop, you don't stop a rockin' to the bang bang boogie, sit up jump, boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
Why do we know this?
The Sugar Hill Gang.
I know
because that was labeled as the first rap song ever, although it wasn't. But that was 1979. What if there was some super lyrical miracle rapper that was actually doing it before even Sugar Hill back in the 70s?
You don't know what you don't know what you don't.
Just never caught on.
Dude,
there could be something out there, but it's not in the history books.
Now I want to Google other stuff, like, cause I'm sorry, I would have always said reggae came before ska. Mm-hmm. Now I want to know, did progressive metal come before deathcore, or like?
Yeah, a long time before.
Or I'm sorry, did deathcore come before progressive metal?
No.
What if? Let's do it.
Hey, it's possible.
Let's do it.
I doubt it.
Let's see.
I seriously doubt it.
Which came first? Death metal?
When did they even start using core for everything? I mean, that was probably more of the last couple decades.
I'm gonna do death metal.
Yeah.
Which came before, death metal or
progressive? Metal.
Bro, see, this is crazy. Let's see. Or progressive. It's got progressive rock.
Yeah, that works. What does it say? Nuh-uh.
Bruh, come on, man.
There's no way
Come
death
on,
metal
man.
was around before progressive
I'm
metal.
joking. Progressive metal came before death metal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Progressive rock emerged in the late 1960s while the death metal began in that mid-1900s. Could you?
Yeah, mid-90s.
You would have got up and walked out just the way I did.
Mid-1900s.
You would have got up and walked out just the same way I did if you found out that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be ridiculous. Like, who is not telling us about this stuff? But it is crazy, though, because through doing this, we have found that a lot of these genres go back much farther than we thought they did.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, bro.
when you think of a grunge, you're like, okay, what, 91? No, it goes back to the 80s.
80s.
Yeah.
Oh, that I know what you're talking about, bro. You had mentioned rap, the lyrical miracle.
Mm-hmm.
I got one for you, bro.
Who did?
The 20s.
The 20s.
And Jesus came down with the. Come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Come, bro.
See, you discover stuff like that, and then you're like, wow, so this style, somebody did this a long time ago.
Man, I love music. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they was. Jesus came down with the water came down.
And the Jesus told Noah to put the on in the boots and the boats and the
If y'all know, y'all know, dude. But that's a fact, though.
Yeah, just look up on YouTube, just very first rap song. Yeah.
You'll see a dude smile like this.
He's
with
in
a suit.
It's like a what would you call that? I mean, it's almost like a doo-wop band.
Yeah.
But it was even before that.
A
barbershop quartet band or something. He just
rapping.
starts rapping in the middle of the song.
Jesus came down with the chickens and the frogs jumped over with the lambs and the hogs, and they started barking at me like a whole bunch of dogs. He was killing it, man.
Yeah, he was.
That's a good topic, man. This
Yeah.
was one that I think me and you touched on pretty good. And curious on what the trash talkers, what you guys
Yeah.
want to say in the comment section.
Oh, there's gonna be some. There's gonna be that comment. Go ahead and write it down.
You know what?
Who the hell cares about genres?
This podcast is for you. We are
Yes.
talking to you. We
Yep.
care.
Oh yeah,
We care about
we're
it,
the
man.
ones who care.
Yes, and
So
I'm
does the record labels, and so does most of the artists, and
probably the majority of the trash
yeah,
talkers. as well.
most people on Earth.
Yes. Just don't tell that cop you got a bag full of white granulated crystals in the bag.
Yeah.
Don't tell him that. Smoke, now you got anything else for the trash
Yeah.
talkers?
No, that's it for this week.
That's it. Well, guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us, spending some time with us on this episode. Please tune into the next one next Tuesday. And with that being said, my name's Barry Hollywood 6. Bye.
I am Larry Smokey Ramirez Cowboy.
Here we are.
Over
And
out. Deuces. Yeah, boy. Don't you label me. Don't you do it.
Bro, if you think